He left New Hampshire for Washington today to reassess his campaign after a 5th-place finish last night. A local college that was the focus of a News 8 investigation last year is now in danger of closing.
Cash flow problems have prompted instructors at the Midwest Career College to walk off the job. News 8's Sandra Chapman joins us live from the school where students are up in the air about their education. Sandra.
Good evening, Tina. Students were literally in tears as they showed up here today to empty classrooms. It seems their lack of instructors is the result of government funding that is being withheld from this college. Now, that same money makes up about 85% of this school's cash flow. Now, the cash flow problems began last September after the school underwent new management and submitted a new application to the Department of Education for its funding, a process that should have only taken up to 90 days. But instead, government officials found the application incomplete and put a freeze on all but $16,000 of the school's money. Instructors at the college were paid late for several weeks, but to date have not been paid in more than a month. Fed up with the situation, they are now refusing to show up for work. Students are understandably upset about the situation.
I have 3 weeks to go, and I don't even know if I'm going to make it. And if I can't, I'm going to have to start over.
We expect to catch them up next week. We do expect the majority of the instructors to be back at work next week.
Now, back out here live, we are joined by one of the instructors, Mary Harmon. Mary, you guys could have made this decision months ago. What prompted it now?
What really prompted it was our financial situation. The 5 or 6 instructors that were left in the daytime, we just couldn't go on anymore. We had to pursue other employment opportunities.
Now, if they ask you to come back, will you come back?
Yes, I'd be happy to, especially if Mr. Tarter pays us. That would be fine. That's what we want. We want to see the school thrive. We really do.
All righty. Thank you very much, Mary Harmon, for joining us live here. And again, Congressman Dan Burton is fighting on behalf of this school. They're hoping to hear something from Washington by tonight or tomorrow, but as of yet, there has been no word. Reporting live from Castleton, back to you.
Sandra Chapman, thank you.
Federal officials say the illegal drug of choice has changed.
If you're complaining about your raises or lack thereof, you're not alone, and we'll go to the top of a new building, the world's tallest. Life in the 90s is next.
I'm Richard Bennett.
I'm Robert Bennett.
Richard Bennett Furniture has relaxed prices on genuine Lazy Boy chairs.
This Lazy Boy chair glides, swivels, and reclines.
Well, this Lazy Boy chair reclines, has storage arms, plus the heat and massage.
The place to find the Lazy Boy chair just right for you.
It's Richard Bennett Furniture in historic Irvington, Danville across from the Hendricks Community Hospital, downtown Lebanon, and on the square in Franklin. And the coffee pot is always on.
I'm too old for this. Retire on my CDs? Right. I need to invest.
If you can't get investment questions off your mind...
Mutual funds, annuities, stocks, I don't know. It all makes me nervous.
Relax. Bank One Securities Corporation has answers. Let's talk. The sooner, the better. Find us at most Bank One banking centers.
Around Indiana, there's a tradition that's old and beloved. It's your Indiana Ford dealer's inventory tax clearance. Your chance to get 4.8 APR financing on virtually every new Ford in stock. And only your Ford dealer has 5 of the 10 best-selling cars and trucks in America. There's a great selection to choose from. And with low 4.8 financing, it's easy to score a winning deal. It's the inventory tax clearance, and your Indiana Ford dealer's the one to see.
Bob. Ivy Tech. The new widget the world wants that Bob makes. Notice the link here between Bob and his wonderful widget. The cold, hard truth is there wouldn't be a widget, not to mention Bob's widget, a job for Bob even, or a story without Ivy Tech. We made Bob valuable because Ivy Tech is the link between Bob and the local workplace, Bob and a better job, Bob and a better Bob. Bob and business, which is good for the state, starting with Bob. Because we taught Bob how to make widgets, and his employer was in the market for Bobs that could do that. Ivy Tech State College, because life's not a fairy tale.
Business casual is a way to bridge the gap between a tailored suit and jeans and a t-shirt. You can feel more casual and look like you mean business. I guarantee it.
Lafayette Shops, Castleton Place, and Greenwood Shops.
In the 80s, cocaine became what experts call the drug of choice among users. Now, federal officials are on the warpath against methamphetamines. Experts point to a new upsurge in the use of speed in California that's now spread across the nation. Now, crack is still the most common illegal drug in urban areas, but methamphetamines have surpassed it in suburban and rural areas.
Today's look at trends in technology includes a very late entry into the music business, a new world's tallest building, and a report on what we brought home. If you received a big raise in 1995, consider yourself lucky. The government says wages, salaries, and benefits rose less than 3% last year, the smallest increase since record-keeping began in 1982. Workers barely kept ahead of inflation. Consumer prices were up 2.5% last year. CompuServe is reopening access to all but 5 sites on the internet. The Ohio-based online service cut off access to about 200 websites recently after Germany banned the transmission of indecent materials over computer networks. Some accused CompuServe of censorship. The company says it will now offer a program to help parents restrict access to their children. The final steel beams were lifted into place today on what's said to be the world's tallest building. The Twin Towers are being built in Malaysia by that country's national oil company. They're 451.9 meters tall, 7 meters higher than Chicago's Sears Tower, which has held the record for 25 years. The world's oldest living person is in the house. Jean Calment has recorded a rap album. It'll be released February 22nd, the day after the French woman's 121st birthday. Producers recorded her speaking voice and mixed it with rap and techno rhythms. The album will be entitled Time's Mistress. The producers report Calment listens to a tape of the album on a Walkman, and her friends at the nursing home like to dance to her rapping. And that's the report from them. We'll see.
Cliff has the updated forecast and the answer to today's weather school question just ahead.
Plus, some local students really take recycling to heart. We'll show you how right after this.
Tonight on Wish TV.
You the new intern?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Kind of a cost analysis. I think we're spending too much on office supplies, and I found a way to save us a lot of money.
Uh-huh. You know what? There's another project I need you for.
Okay.
This is going to save us a lot of money. Good thinking.
Thanks.
I'm almost done.
Oh, I see you've met my daughter.
Save money at Staples. Get the guaranteed low price on 6,000 items and free delivery. Staples. Yeah, we've got that.
There's no better time than right now to buy a new car or minivan during the big February clearance. Because if we don't sell these new Chryslers and Plymouths, we pay tax on them. So now, drive Chrysler Concorde for under $18,500 with air, automatic, and more. Get great lease rates on Plymouth Voyager. And the friendly Plymouth Neon with dual airbags has $1,000 cash back. Now, during the big February clearance at your local Chrysler Plymouth dealers. Don't let it pass you by.
It's a big difference. And the first thing they say to me is, "Oh my gosh, Robin, where have you been? Or what have you done?" And I tell them, well, this is what Ladies Only will do for you.
I had gained a gross amount of weight so that I was very fat. People who haven't seen me are really surprised when they don't recognize me on the street. They have to stop them and say who I am. Ladies Only was great, and they're always there to support you, because if it wasn't for Ladies Only staff, I would never have lost the weight I have now.
Hello, I'm Hugh McCaddock. This just in, a meteor landed near a McDonald's. Here's Eyewitness Louise Sanders.
Well, I had just ordered when all of
What
a
did you
sudden...
get?
Oh, a double cheeseburger.
Oh, don't you love that first tasty bite?
The meteor just...
Meteor, it sure is meteor. And the double cheeseburger is just 89 cents.
But this is a big deal.
That it is, because you can also get a morning fresh sausage biscuit with egg for just 89 cents. To recap, 89-cent deals at McDonald's. Oh, and some big rock fell out of the sky.
Seen any good furniture lately? Value City Furniture. Who'd you think we were talking about?
Some Indianapolis public school students have taken the idea of recycling to heart. The students at School 112 call themselves Planeteers because they've spent the past few months collecting and then recycling paper at their school. They made hundreds of hearts to give away for Valentine's Day. The 6th and 7th graders presented those hearts today to residents at a nearby nursing home.
taking these to the elderly, and so we're doing something we're giving of ourselves instead of always asking for people to help our schools.
We made Valentines when we were kids in school many, many years ago, back in the 20s and 30s. But it makes you feel good to have somebody think about you.
That's what it's all about.
Indeed.
Very nice.
Very nice. Time now for Cliff, Weather, and Weather School.
Yes, and I think I know today's weather school answer.
Okay,
But first, folks, we'll find out in a minute.
Kenny, you haven't been looking at the teacher's notes, have you?
Never. You're such a tough taskmaster, Cliff.
Take a look outside right here, and it almost looks like we're getting maybe some flurries or something like that. But you know, a lot of this is staying up here within the clouds, and what little flurry activity may be coming down. So far, it's melting. I'll show you radar coming up here in just a second. But first of all, let's see what our temperatures were around Indiana via the local weather stations. Mostly the upper 30s and even lower 40s. Pretty pleasant, I'll tell you. That's because we have a warm wind from the south here that's blowing up little milder temperatures. Even as far north as Kokomo, you folks, 35 degrees the high so far. Arcadia, 35. Our Lady of Mount Carmel, 39. And down here in Orleans Elementary, 44 was the high. Let me show you National Weather Service radar. And boy, this looks a lot messier than it actually is. Now, the darker green areas right here, that's where some light snow is currently falling up here in southwestern Michigan. But I checked all the reporting stations in Illinois as well as Indiana and Ohio, and none of the cities reporting any of the snow reaching the ground. Well, maybe that could happen later on tonight. So the forecast in Indianapolis for this evening, cloudy skies, few flurries possible tonight, low temperature pretty mild, near 30. The average low this time of the year is 20. Tomorrow's high, 35 degrees, and again, mostly cloudy and a few flurries possible. Today's weather school question goes like this. 1 degree Celsius is equivalent to 1.5 degrees Fahrenheit, 1.8 degrees Fahrenheit, or 2.1 degrees.
I'm starting to waffle now. I'm going to say B, Tina.
C. B.
Well, again, very good.
I was thinking C, and then I switched.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cliff. Yeah, thank you.
Good
It's
one.
nice to get one right for a change.
It is, it is. Well, are you tired of winter and ready for spring?
When we come back, a look at how it could be much, much worse.
Weather School is brought to you by the American Dairy Association of Indiana and Teachers Credit Union, the reward of belonging.
It's bigger than big. It's huge. Ford's car and truck event of the decade. 4.8% financing for 48 months or huge rebates from $600 to $2,000 cash back. Taurus, Contour, Escort, Ranger, Windstar, Aerostar, Probe, Thunderbird, Econoline, Club Wagon, and even Bronco. 4.8 financing or up to $2,000 cash back. It's bigger than big, and your Indiana Ford dealer's the one to see for huge savings right now.
Which store has the lower priced pet supplies? Our secret informants tell all.
Purina Dog Chow at Pet Supplies Plus $8.88. The PetSmart price $7.49. That's a savings of $1.39.
Purina Cat Chow, Pet Supplies Plus $6.38. PetSmart $4.89. A savings of $1.49.
Case closed. PetSmart has lower prices than the competition and a whole lot more. Next week's expose, cats in the doghouse.
Ooh.
When it comes to taking out the enemy, there's a new way of thinking. You plant Corn hybrids, then apply Resolve herbicide. You get more control, higher corn yields. The weeds never get a chance. Resolve on Corn, a new precision weed control program. The revolution has begun.
Come celebrate Dr. Tavel's latest grand opening. Get a free eye exam with the purchase of glasses at any Dr. Tavel 1 Hour Optical. 1 hour glasses without the 1 hour price.
Guten Tag. This is the best kept secret in the business. Imagine a pedigreed Mercedes-Benz for only $29,900. Yes, you've heard right, $29,900. This C car is lightning fast, solid as a rock, good for a zillion miles, and very, very luxurious. Imagine $29,900. Incredible. Auf Wiedersehen at Worldwide Motors at 96 in Keystone and downtown.
In Indiana, we've had just about enough of this winter, but folks in the northwestern states may be even more fed up.
Floodwaters are beginning to recede in some areas after last week's heavy rains, but others are still sandbagging. Meteorologist Steve Bray has the latest.
Skies may be clear now in Portland, Oregon, but at the surface, things are still wet and muddy. Flood waters are going down now, down to reveal the muck left behind. Store owners are lugging the sandbags from their storefronts and pushing squeegees to clean up the mess left behind by the wettest winter in 2 decades. In the state of Washington, they're cleaning up as well, cleaning homes where little was left untouched by the rising water.
We were working in it today, and we had to take a break. You start getting shaky because you're dealing with everything that was destroyed that was your life.
Traffic is now rolling on many roads that were once closed, while mudslides are still shutting down others. The death toll stands at 8 from the flooding in the Northwest, and in some areas the water's still going up. The floodgates on the Post Falls Dam in northern Idaho are wide open, but the floodwaters can't flow through fast enough. Water levels on the Spokane River are as much as 8 feet above flood stage.
Make sure we get a good base. Who knows how high this thing's got to go.
In Idaho, snow melt is now combining with the rain-swollen rivers to make the situation worse.
We hear it's going to rise 1 inch an hour until tomorrow night, so there will be probably 1.5 to 2, 3 feet more.
So while some folks are digging out and watching the rivers fall, others are piling sandbags and wondering how much farther the rivers will rise. Steve Bray, Wish TV, News 8.
The All-Star break is over. Time now for the Pacer action to resume, second half of the season.
Time to rev it up and get set for the playoffs. It won't be long, Mark.
Oh, we're halfway through the season. The Pacers, of course, have been playing extremely well, chasing really Orlando in the Eastern Conference. We'll preview this game tonight with New Jersey as Vern Fleming returns. And huge news about Jim Harbaugh's contract with the Colts when we return live to Market Square Arena. And Will Hampton will join us from Daytona. William.
Yeah, what about this, Mark? We'll talk to these drivers today about what they think about the IRL kart feud coming up in sports.
It's the one-day sale at last. The Lazarus one-day sale at last.
So head to Lazarus for a full day of savings. It's the Lazarus one-day sale, and it's this Wednesday only. Save 20 to 50% all over the store, plus an extra 30 to 40% off clearance. So shop early and stay late. Stores open 8 a.m. to 10 p.m.
It's the Lazarus one-day sale at last.
Imagine the freedom you'll have with Roundup Ready soybeans. Imagine a better way to work and manage your time. What if you had fewer boundaries? What if you had more control? What would that feel like? Find out with Roundup Ready soybeans. With Roundup Ready soybeans, you will know a freedom you have never experienced. Roundup Ready soybeans. Freedom from weeds.
What makes February different around here? College hoops, right? Wrong. Tough winters? Tax time? Yes. And tax time means it's time to save at your Lincoln Mercury dealer. They're clearing out inventory, passing great tax savings onto you. Plus now get 4.8 financing up to 48 months on all 96 Mercurys. Whatever you do, see your Lincoln Mercury dealer before the tax man. Or you could be left out in the cold.
Imagine yourself in a Mercury now.
Hey, dog, for 99 cents, I got a big double cheeseburger at Hardee's. Double beef, double cheese, double delicious.
You gonna share?
Why not? It's Tuesday.
Tuesday?
Luther, Coach wants you.
Hardee's 99-cent big double cheeseburger. Double delicious.
Sorry, it's Tuesday.
And for breakfast, try our 99-cent bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit.
We're live at Market Square Arena, where tonight, of course, the Indiana Pacers will hook it up with the New Jersey Nets. It's the first return of Vern Fleming to Market Square Arena. The Nets are a woeful road team, just 5-21 on the season so far. We'll talk with Larry Brown as the Pacers get ready for the second half of the season. Coming up tonight at 6:20, as always, here on Wish TV. Well, no official word yet today on Lindy Infante becoming the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts. He and Bill Tobin continue to talk at the Colts complex today. When the move does officially take place, Ted Marchibroda obviously is the man without a job, but Marchibroda said today he has no ill feelings at all toward Lindy Infante, hoping that he does the very best as coach of the Colts, and Infante has the same feelings toward Ted.
I have nothing but the utmost respect for Ted, and Ted was super to me, and you know, we've only been together for a year, and our association with one another, I think, was very professional, and I have a great deal of respect for him. It's unfortunate. You know, it was a little bit of a surprise to all of us, but here again, I don't know all the ins and outs, and I don't know exactly what happened.
Big news about Jim Harbaugh. The team designated QB as the Colts franchise player today. That means Indianapolis must tender a minimum offer of a one-year contract for the average salary of the top 5 paid quarterbacks in the league. That'll push Captain Comeback to just over $4 million a year. Now, he can still seek other offers from other teams, but the Colts can match. And if they decide not to match the offer, they would get 2 first-round draft choices from another team. Now that Art Modell is on the move to Baltimore, he's looking at possibly Ted Marchibroda as the head coach of his new franchise. Though he has yet to fire Bill Belichick, Don Shula officially said today he has no interest in that job in Baltimore. Of course, down in Daytona, it's the World Series of Auto Racing coming Sunday on Wish TV and CBS, and Will Hampton is there live to tell us exactly what's been going on in the week of preparations. Will?
Yeah, we're still getting set for those big qualifying races on Thursday. The first race ought to be a dandy. You'll have Earnhardt in there, Jarrett in there. Sterling Marlin's going to be in that race. They have 2 races. Earnhardt, of course, on the pole for the first race. Second race, Irvin's on the pole. Gordon will be in there with him, along with John Andretti. Now, today we got a pretty good look at the draft. These cars out there together, a bunch of them, a big, huge pack of cars going racing, dialing it in, just to see, you got to get a feeling for how they're going to be this Sunday in the Daytona 500. Cars running well, 3, the 4, the 28, the 88. Now, we'll see all these guys in Indy this August, all of them aware of the CART IRL feud. With this controversy, does this open the door for NASCAR to be the show in Indianapolis, bigger than the Indy 500?
You know, I hate to see what's going on because I think that right now there are no winners. You know, it seems like it's tearing both sides down and splitting things like that. I would hate to see anything like that happen to NASCAR. I think it would really hurt the sport.
It's really sad to see CART and Tony George and the guys arguing about where to race and how to race. It's going to take something away from them, but I don't think they'll ever take away from Indy. I think they'll all end up coming back to Indy.
Rusty Wallace drives Roger Penske's Winston Cup car, and from what he's heard, Indy won't be Indy this May.
The only thing I've ever got was a big note that said all hospitality for the Indy 500 has been canceled. All emphasis on the Brickyard 400. That's for all the corporation, and that's about 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people. No more entertainment for Indy. It's all going to be in the Brickyard.
So no more entertainment for Indy. That means Penske's not going to be there. Rusty Wallace, of course, not going to be there because he'll be racing in Charlotte in the Coca-Cola 600. Back to Mark Patrick at the Indiana game.
Well, thanks very much, Will. And here in the 8th grade game taking place previous to the Pacers and Nets, Shelbyville blowing out Waldron, Mike and Debbie, 48-14. Debbie, exactly like you said would happen when I left the studio this afternoon.
Boy, aren't you glad? You got to be glad you confer with me, you know, Mark?
That's the thing.
Right. All right, thanks a lot, Mark.
Thank you, Mark. Next on News 8 at 6 o'clock, Debbie and I will have these stories for you.
This classroom should be filled with students, but cash flow problems at the Midwest Career College have caused a walkout by instructors. I'm Sandra Chapman. Find out what the government's role is coming up.
I'm Jim Shella, live at the State House, where a tax cut is on its way to the governor's desk. What it means to you coming up.
This southern Indiana man is innocent of child molestation charges, but having the charges dropped has not ended his nightmare. I'm Leslie Olson. The story from Sullivan is coming up.
And considerably colder air is coming to the state. I'll tell you when and whether.
Also tonight, some parents want IPS to take action against a middle school teacher. We'll tell you why.
Those stories and more next on News 8 at 6 o'clock as your 24-hour news service continues.
It's the perfect time to update your home with help from Menards. Moen kitchen faucets are on sale in a large assortment of styles to fit your home. This double-handle faucet is only $29.99. And for the bath, find big savings on fans and fan light combinations. Nautilus bath fans are available in many styles. This bath fan is just $8.88. Save on home improvement needs at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
The overall success of your year depends on a lot of things, like what soybean herbicide you choose. That's why you need new Detail. No other herbicide performs more consistently in a wide range of conditions, giving you season-long control of broadleaf weeds and grasses. After all, when you pay attention to detail, you take care of the big picture.
You're watching 24-Hour News 8, the best news you'll get all day. Now, Mike Ahern, Debbie Knox, meteorologist Cliff Nicholson, and sports with Mark Patrick. This is 24-Hour News 8 at 6.
I have 3 weeks to go. And I don't even know if I'm going to make it. And if I can't, I'm going to have to start over.